So my next topic of the night is how do you know she's the one? I'm going to play this clip.
Always gonna be a badder bitch. Always. If you think you got the baddest one, there's always a badder one.
Right.
So if you're gonna base every decision you make off of a badder bitch, you never would have anything sustainable in your life. So when I'm young, 19, 18, 17, gathering all this game, and like you said with the best friend thing, like how I knew my wife was the one, bro, because we would sit up, and I'm not talking about on the phone, like we in a parking lot, we chopping, we really cool. Like I had a problem. Everybody my age want to smash, get chicks. I want to get to the money. So for me, I would call a chick, damn, I ain't heard from you in 3 months. I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, where you at? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not giving me the energy that I'm looking for because I'm not engaging with them on a regular basis. But how I knew she was the one is because I can literally talk to you.
How do you know that she's the one? I know it's going to be different for different folks, right? Everybody got their own thing, what they look for. But what I have noticed, the older you get, there are just these things that I consider like the base. It's considered like the foundation, like a must have. And I just want to see if we can go around to see if we can identify what those things are. Because some men don't even know what a good woman looks like until you get her. And then you like, damn, like, never seen this shit before. This shit is unheard of. So how do you know she's the one? Let's chime in, fellas.
All right, I go. Y'all ain't said nothing. Try to give y'all 2 seconds. Y'all already know me. I be trying to not talk, but y'all ain't say shit.
Go ahead, let go. Let's get it.
Be
You ain't
quiet.
trying not to talk.
Right. Go on, kid.
Jump in.
Yo, I gave y'all 2 seconds.
Like a half a second, let go.
So I would say, for me, I need a woman that is able to make adjustments. You get with a woman, she's this, she's that. It's going to be some type of problem that's going to arise, right? Is she going to actually make the adjustment, or she's just going to continue to be defensive and justify her behavior and justify why she's doing whatever she's doing and why she's still going to do it? So that's the first thing. A woman that is open to making adjustments. And then at the same time, some stupid shit that I do. Is the woman open to giving me having the patience for me to make the proper adjustments before she starts spazzing out on me? So I need a woman that is open to making adjustments. And at the same time, I need a woman that is open or patient enough for me to make the proper adjustments before she starts going down a rabbit hole of why I'm this or why I'm that.
For me, the number one thing first was what's her faith like, and then second of all, for me, this is the second go around. I wrote down what it is that I wanted, and for me, I prayed about it, and I didn't think it could happen. I mean, because I have 4 kids. I'm a widower, and I had at the time I had lost my job, and so I'm like, this can't happen. So for me, what I did was write it down, and then I didn't really look for it. And then when I saw it, I knew I needed to act upon it. So some of the things that I look for is, does she provide me peace? Like for real, I know that's usually a talking point, but for me, like I wanted somebody that could actually come into my house. I was already having some working on grief and things of that nature, but I wasn't even looking for her. But even though I had wrote it down, so she provided me peace, somebody that's funny, and somebody that would love my kids. So that's how I knew. It's other things too, but that's how I knew that she was the one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not married. I'm divorced. And so when I get married, then I'll let y'all know.
Oh, so you gotta wait till you get married to be.
It don't even make sense.
How would I know if the person is the one if I'm not with the one?
Well, what I'm saying is, okay, so you into real estate, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you saying that you buy the house and then figure out if it's the house to buy?
No, I could see the potential in buying the house, but everybody got potential. All houses got potential. Like it depends
right,
on
but as a person of it that's an investor, you have a criteria in which you go look for that property. You don't just go buy any one of them.
So the difference in, I like that you use the analogy, but the difference is real estate is what I do. I know what's a good deal. You're not going to scam me at this point in time because I already went through the process. But to go through the process of knowing if this person is the one is if you haven't with if you with this person long term. If you with somebody like Ricky, I'm inclined to listen to Ricky. He's married. He's with the one of his life, and he didn't. I thought my ex-wife was the one. I thought that, right? But you don't know directly until you spending the rest of your life with that person. And right now, that person is on trajectory. And whoever is else married on the panel, I'm inclined to listen to them and take their word for more than anyone else who's not married that's on the panel. Not that if you're not married that you don't have an idea. But the stronger argument is the ones who's married and been doing in a long-term relationship, long-term marriage.
For sure. And I don't know if you know, but I was married.
Okay.
My wife passed away. So
so then I will listen. So I didn't know that HD. So
right.
I'm willing to listen to you. So you already you've been through this and you found the one before. It's just that life circumstances happen outside of, y'all didn't get a divorce like that. You know what I'm saying? It was things out of your control. That's different. So I'm inclined to listen to you. But
that's
now,
what I'm saying. I knew. So I've had to go through the process twice.
Yeah.
What I'm saying. So I'm saying that when my late wife Jen, I knew that she was the one because we was friends. Like we was friends for a long time, and I could operate however I wanted to operate, and she was still rocking with me. Right. The lady that I'm engaged to now, and like I said, I had a criteria. And so I literally knew what I was going to be looking for because I dated some other chicks and I was like, they just ain't going to be it. And then when I talked to her, the first time we talked, it was like 4 hours.
And so because you had a criteria, it's like we were saying, you had a criteria, you knew already what worked. I can't tell you what worked because it didn't work for me. You get what I'm trying to say? You've been through it, you know where it worked. You know what worked already.
So do you have a criteria? Yes,
of course I have ideas.
So what is the criteria?
Well, change is consistent. You got to be willing to grow. I don't want to be stagnant at all. I know the type of person that I am, that I'm always trying to evolve, and sometimes stagnation. Man, also got to learn. I had to learn patience with myself as well, and have patience for others because sometimes people don't move when you move. So I learned some lessons and things in that criteria, but again, I can't say what's going to work until I get through it. And I would listen to HD and Ricky and whoever else was married on the panel.
Yeah, I would say the way is based upon like you said, your criteria. For me, she had to have my 6, and I not just physically. So the way I knew my wife was the one was she met me on a hard time. Like I had just lost a job. I'm in the streets hustling. I had just tore my knee up. So, I'm not moving around the way I wanted to. So I'm going through it emotionally and all those things. I only had enough money to pay my rent and pay my car note. Not even no haircut, none of the other stuff. So y'all know what that's like. So one day she was like, yo, come with me to the barbershop. Let's go. You're getting cleaned up. Now, y'all all know in the car, I forgot to get the money. So got the haircut. It's time for to pay that money. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to tell her to give me that bread in the middle of the barbershop. So long story short, the barber, he did the cardinal sin that we didn't want to happen. When she brings the money over to me, he goes, oh, you got it like that. And I'm like, I'm depleted. I felt terrible. So I put my head down, and the first words out of her mouth was, yeah, he got it like that. And instantaneously, she had my back. In that way, I was like, nah, that's it. She's the one. She had my 6 in a way that nobody else would. Somebody else would have shitted on me in public. Oh, no, this broke nigga, da, 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 da. Nah, she covered me. So in that space, I knew instantaneously that she was going to be the one. It's been 16 years since.
Praise be to Allah. I know that's right, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, go ahead. Rick, I seen somebody in the chat say they looking for your perspective, man.
I don't know why. No, no, man. I done told y'all this story. She was my friend. We was friends, bro. All right, we was friends. Like I said, with a lot of people, y'all get in these relationships with no intentions to be with that person. It just turned into something, right? No, we like we would chop it up about everything. She loved me for me. With and I love her for her. That's what it's what they call it, perfectly imperfect. We all got stuff. We all got triggers and traumas that we deal with, that we was programmed or we put ourselves through, allow somebody else to put us through. That's you. That's you. A lot of y'all be dating representatives. My girl know me and I know her. I know when it get to around October, right? November-ish, I need to cuddle up on her because the woman that was most important in her life died around that time, her auntie. Right? We know each other. We understand, right? I know what she went through and I love her. I don't care what people say. With the thing, I love her for what she is and what she isn't. And I feel sorry for y'all that y'all can't get to that.
Go ahead, Ricky.
Yo, I don't know if they caught on to that, Ricky. Loving her for what she's not, bro. That's heavy. Like, in the last 15, 16 years of relationship, I had to understand what that really meant, bro. Like, loving her in the spaces that she's not, and that's what makes her, and appreciating that. Oh, man. That's real love, kid.
Yeah, that's real. That's real right there. Loving her for what she's not.
Mm-hmm.
King Rio, brother, I know you're sucking up all these gems. How do you know she's the one? According to Mr. Ali, he said you got to be married to kind of know that. But I'll go ahead and give it a shot with you and Shan and see what y'all say.
I understand Ali's perspective, and I kind of understand the other brothers too. I think that we don't know anything for certain, right? People change, we change, things change. However, if we have a criteria and she meets that criteria, I think it increases the likelihood of things working out, right? So for me, top things that kind of come to mind are that we're all going to be flawed. However, the good ultimately outweighs the bad. You know, you can deal with my bag and I can deal with yours, so to speak. She doesn't flee during challenging times because those are going to happen, you know, and, you know, real partnership are going through hard times and celebrating the good times together. So I think that's very, very important as far as I'm concerned. She doesn't dismantle your system. Instead, her care for you allows you to operate better in it, right? Support and things of that nature. You know, we got to make sure that the people that we are with truly believe in our vision and our plan, so that we don't have to defend it later.
How do you do that, King Rio?
You lay it on the table. You know how we always give that ship analogy, Shan. You know what I mean? Like Rick just talked about how he was best friends with his woman, right? And with that comes a lot of conversations of substance. And I think that if you want to essentially fill each other out, I think you have those type of conversations where you get a good understanding of this is where I'm going. Because ultimately you have a plan. We hope. This is where I'm going. Do you like where I'm going? And are you going to get on this ship with me? We talk about that all the time, right? Because ultimately, you're the one that's driving the boat. You know what I mean? And she got on this ship voluntarily, right? And we talk about how the fact that, yeah, we are going to, you know, go through tumultuous situations, and you got to trust me, and we got to support each other. We got to have each other's backs. So, you know, those types of conversations are very important. If you're not talking about anything, that's a good sign that you're nowhere near where you need to even be considering marriage. Like, how do you not have these discussions? You know what I mean? Are you dating really? Once you get beyond the, oh, this person is beautiful, this person's sexy, or whatever it is. Oh, we have a lot of fun together. Well, you can't have fun every day forever.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Ultimately, we can have fun dates. That's great. But ultimately, this is not what life is going to be every day.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, you got to be willing to be real. Rick talked about this. You have to be willing to be real. And you know, brother just mentioned about the barbershop situation. She proved to him that she had his back, so to speak. You know what I mean? And they were on one accord. And that, listen, it's not a me and a him, it's a us thing. It's us. You know, those are the indications. I think a lot of us try to go into these relationships and then want to hit the marriage and just be separate. How the hell is that going to work? Like, realistically, how is that going to work? Why do you want to do a we thing separately?
Yo, it's in the language though, King. You just said it. I tell all the guys that I coach, right, especially my single guys, you got to pay attention to the words that the women are using. If they're using "what can you do for me" type languages, leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's talking about what can we do together, what can we build, how can I help you build, what can you help me build so we can have something together? If they're using that language, those are more the keepers. You got to pay attention to the language, because most of the time, women going to tell you what they are.
Yeah, big facts.
Let me get Shannon in there. Brother, go ahead and chime in. It's an OG right here, y'all.
You silly JR. Rashawn, you were saying that you weren't married, so you didn't want to give a perspective.
Yeah, I said I'm not married right now. I was married. I'm divorced.
I think that gives you better perspective, personally. This is what I think. You know, and shout out to the married brothers. I've been twice married. But a lot of times marriage can cloud up people's judgment. And, you know, it's one of the best perfect examples of cognitive dissonance, just like smokers that know smoking is bad for them, that they continue to do it. And they talk about everything else around smoking, except for the bad things that it's doing to their lungs. A lot of married men are in marriages and they're going to talk about the greatest thing. One of the things I used to say when I was married was, "Hey, Shan, how you like married life?" "Oh, it's better than single life." That was my instant response. "Oh, it's better than single life," right? Talked about all the great stuff. So when you say, you know what, I'm not married, I'm not really sure, blah, blah. Nah, don't go there, Rashawn, because you know. And hearing the perspective from somebody who's married could, in their mind, be the reality. But if you were to do a deep dive into that marriage, it may not necessarily be the case. They may be miserable or in dying of 1,000 cuts and don't even know it. So I say, how do you know she's the one? That's the question. How do you know she's the one? Two things that all men, in my personal opinion, two things that I think all men should evaluate when it comes to a woman, if you want to know if she's the one. One, did your life get easier as a result of her presence? Did your life, you don't have to be married to know this. And if you're married and you're struggling and you still clapping about marriage, you may want to go get some therapy. Did your life get easier as a result of that woman's presence? Living in your house, dating her, fucking her, going out with her, calling her, spending time with her. Did your life get easier? Not her life, your life. Because typically when we get with women, their lives increase. We already know we make shit easy for them because we're problem solvers. We protect them. We provide for them. And the second thing is, did your life increase as a result of her presence? What I'm talking about is socioeconomic level. We call them help meets, right? You need to help me meet my goals. You're my help meet. You need to help me meet my my purpose. Are you helping me meet what I'm trying to do? That's why when King Real was like, "Yo, this is the program. Are you with it or not?" Made me think of Mr. Let Go's bus analogy. I love it. And if her value, the value is what men should use as the barometer to measure a woman's perfection in his life. What value does she bring? Not just the sexual component, not just the trophy wife because she's pretty, not just because she cooks, but if she's cooking and yelling at you, if she keeps the house clean, but she ain't giving you no sex, I mean, it's a lot going on that could, giving and taking. And if you end up taking more, you end up giving more than you're taking. So you need to make sure that you need to make sure that any woman you're dating seriously, not just smashing, not the side chicks, not the girls that you just having fun with, but if you're seriously dating somebody and you're considering being with her for the rest of your life, and if you're in a relationship with somebody, there's two things you need to pay attention to. Is your life easier as a result of her being there? And is your life increased? Meaning your comfort level, meaning your bank account, meaning the way that you live, your eating, your health, better as a result of her being there. If any of those is a kind of sorta or a no, then she ain't the one.
Yeah, listen. Go ahead, Shannon.
I need to hit the mute button, let y'all know I'm.
Yeah, what I was saying is to give my perspective on something. The reason why I have that is I do know I have thoughts, but however, I like to take the reason why I take the reserve part from it is because I look at results. I'm a math person. That's how I think, and I look at results, and I will always take the back seat to marry men, even if they going through a struggle at a certain part of time in their marriage, because there's up and down. Like you go through ups and downs in your marriage, like the stock market, like brainwaves. To monitor brainwaves, the lines go up and down. To monitor a heart rate, the lines go up and down. So that means in life, there's ups and downs in your life. And sometimes, that man or that woman that's working through the problems in a marriage, I tip my hat off to them, and they words are very valuable. I know we can get online, and I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't, from if you spin that diamond at another angle, that I'm sure what you're saying, it has some truth to it. But I do know, and this is King talk, we have young boys looking for advice, and they probably leaning, and men in general, leaning to people who really don't know, and they just need to be careful of talking and trying to get advice from those who not even worthy of getting advice. They might hear, and not even qualified really to give them advice. They should lean and look for somebody who's married, who's taking on, because to take on a family is hard work. That shit ain't easy. It's not easy. Any man that's got a wife or been married and got children or just got children, it ain't easy. And for someone to work through those problems, that means they are problem solvers, right? And then when they hearing, those men are more willing to hold people accountable. You hear a young boy, yeah, man, my baby mother, she wilding, or my girl, she wilding. The first thing you're gonna be like, what's going on? What you do? Right? You like to play devil's advocate because you're only hearing one side of the story, so you know how to question them. And 9 times out of 10, he ain't going through nothing that you ain't already been going through. If you've been in a relationship long enough, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. So just be careful. And I just like to take the backseat to those who are married currently at the time. And that's, so I just take that approach. You know what I'm saying? Not saying what you're saying, Shannon, is wrong or anything, but I just like to take the backseat to married men when it comes to questions like that.
Quick question, Ali. You mentioned you've been married before, though, right?
Yeah, I was my ex-wife, we was together for 13 years.
So you were in a marriage for 13 years, and I'm sure you know what went right and what went wrong. I'd say that you'd be a credible authority on this topic. Why would you discredit yourself in this conversation?
It's not that I'm discrediting myself. I said I like to take the back seat to those who been where I've been at and stuck through and worked.
You're talking about successful, man.
Yes. That's it. I'm not saying that I said I got thoughts, right? But when I see somebody, I wasn't successful in my marriage.
But Rashawn,
Get married again.
I would take the seat back, right, to someone who is currently successful in their marriage.
But Rashawn, there's something that the guy that's still married doesn't know or understand.
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what that part is? Hold on. Do you know that? What is that part?
Like the divorce part.
Divorce.
That's right.
The actual understanding how it feels to grieve a person that's still alive, and then to turn around and still get along with that person that you already grieved. You feel me? So a person that's been divorced actually has more knowledge than a person that's still married, because one, you've been married, you know how that feels. You've gone through the divorce, the court, all this custody and all that other stuff. The married person don't know nothing about that part. And then you back out here being single as a divorcee. So you back out here in the single world with the single people or whatever. That married person don't know nothing about single life to a certain degree. So you actually have more wisdom than the person that's married, because the person that's married is still their wife. Now that's a good thing. That's a success. But us divorced people, we back out here in these streets. The married person don't know what's going on in these streets.
And half of that, we don't know if it's a success. Just because they married don't mean they happy. That's the cognitive dissonance I was talking about.
Yeah, Dr. Jordan Peterson said that just because someone it's actually by definition is success if someone is together long term. Like it's actually is success. Now they might be going through problems, and we not just that is different, but that doesn't mean that it's not going. Now, mind you, yeah, about divorce, but he asked the question, how do you know she's the one? And but
it goes back to, you don't know what you're either looking for or you're open to identifying.
I know what I'm looking for. Listen.
So then that's how you gonna know she the one.
That's what I'm saying. It's just confusion on how you just like, and I think you're downplaying where you are versus the people that are married. And that's the reason why I said what I said. We divorcees actually have more wisdom than the men that are actually still married, because they don't know what's going on out here versus we do.
Let me say this. I don't think that we have more wisdom because we've been divorced. I think that
we actually do. We got more experience because they never been divorced before.